Boza. Come on.
Hello everybody.
That was so formal, bro. Are you at the airport? Have you heard how the Gautrain lady is so different to the airport lady? But anyway, hi everybody.
Yeah, hey everybody. You're listening to the Sisterhood of the Traveling Mgowo. We're Gone Girls. If anybody coined that, I'm sorry, baby. It is what it is. So my name is Misha.
My name is Sinesipo.
Yeah, and we are the Twitter bullies.
Okay, that's a wild way of putting it.
No, guys. So yeah, we up and decided to have a podcast. Because first and foremost, our voices are just amazing.
True.
I mean, just
true.
listen to me. I mean, the last word of the name of the podcast says it all. We're going through the most. We're trying to get out of that, obviously, because it's not every day, man. You can't be going through the most every day. And so maybe, I don't know, we're trying to make it very holistic. It's not always about complaining about what's going wrong, but just
also about like unpacking it and trying to see what can go right.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Navigating, it's just us navigating this life that we're living at the moment. Adulthood, friendship.
Adulthood.
Yeah, the journey of adulthood.
Work.
Life.
Love.
Yeah.
All of that.
So yeah, this is us. Definitely looking forward to the next. I don't know how long we're going to do this for. Our producer can tell us.
We had another thing going on, and everybody's kind of like upset about us dropping that. But yeah, that's a topic for another day.
And so we're gonna have there was the other thing that we were doing.
But now it's a new year.
Yeah.
New us.
Yes.
So we had like a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But it was like a group thing. There were about 7 of us. It was kind of difficult coordinating, getting together to film.
And I think it's all the more difficult now, especially this year, because we're in completely different areas.
And everybody's working, everybody's got their own things going on. So that's kind of like been put on hold. I don't know if it's going to come back. We haven't even seen each other this year.
Actually, yeah.
Because everyone's been busy. So yeah, if anyone has questions about that, that's the answer.
That's the answer, guys.
There's no beef. Nobody fought with anyone.
Nobody fought with anybody.
Like spicy things.
Yeah, hey, everything is a spice. Like, it's okay, sweeties. Focus on your life.
But yeah, as we said, new year, new us. So I think you're gonna
exactly
unpack
what we're gonna talk about, actually. So yeah, new year, new us. I feel like personally, I think when you got here, you were saying like my year just started.
Started last week, dude. And last week was what? The second week of Feb, first week of Feb. Like, I don't recognize January. It was the 60th of December or some shit. My new year started last week, and it was hectic.
It was really hectic. Like, that's when life really hit me. Like, oh, okay, the year is actually, we're here now. But anyway, so we went and looked into just kind of where
these New Year's resolutions come
where
from,
they come
because
from.
you grow up and you keep on hearing everyone. I remember the first time I heard the idea of a New Year's resolution, because obviously I was growing up with my gran and I don't think she was about that shit. The first time I was like, when you're watching TV and then they're interviewing someone on Seli Matunzi and like that dude Brown with the deep ass voice, he's like, yo, what are your New Year's resolution for the year? Like right after he opens your fucking fridge. But anyway, he's like, yo, what are your New Year's resolutions for the year? And I was like, okay, New Year's resolutions, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then you get to school and they're like, yeah, you guys have to draw up a list of your New Year's resolutions and these are your goals. I was like, I don't know where the fuck this thing comes from. So I don't know if you can like shed some light on that.
So I did a bit of reading on history.com. Obviously that's like the best place to go to because, it's history.com.
Get some history.
I mean, I'm disappointing my lecturer at the moment because he said, you have to go for academic, literature. So just for practice sake, next time I'm gonna go for academic literature. So apparently it started with the ancient Babylonians like 4,000 years ago. So their New Year didn't really start in January, it started in March. And it was a 12-day religious festival. They called it Akitu. And basically, every time they'd crown a new king, and what would happen is they'd reaffirm their loyalty to the reigning king. They'd make promises to the gods to pay their debt and return any objects they'd borrowed, and I suppose back then those promises could be considered New Year's resolutions.
So there were promises to like the God, and now it's kind of like become promises to ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Away.
So, if they kept their word, the gods would bestow favor on them for the coming year, And then there was another piece about back in Rome, Julius Caesar. He obviously their New Year started on the 1st of January, and
shout out to Brutus. But anyway,
so actually they named the New Year Janus. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Janus. I don't know.
Y'all. I'm joking. But it like does kind of like suck ass that like every time the New Year starts, there's all of this pressure.
There's always this pressure. Yeah, so they had a two-faced god whose spirit inhabited doorways and arches. And so that's what January signified for the Romans. Like they basically made promises for good conduct for the coming year, in order to get blessings. Basically, you know how we are as people. We do all of that for our own personal gain, which is something we need to go into, but it's fine.
So how have you like kind of taken the whole New Year's resolution thing now that you're an adult who can define their own ways of fitting into practices or norms that exist like within society?
Yeah. So for the longest time, I never really set goals, to be honest with you. I didn't do that stuff because I was just like, I'm just going to go with the wind. Nothing is defined. Anything can happen. And I still my beliefs definitely encompass that as well. But now I'm just a little more, I suppose, that's the word of the year, intentional.
Intentional. I want to be loved intentionally.
I'm a little bit more intentional about kind of what I want to do in the year, especially now that I'm not in varsity. I'm not, it was easier when I was in school and I was in varsity because I knew that this year what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I pass. There was nothing else. I wasn't working. I wasn't.
It was kind of like an expected thing that you need to pass.
Whereas now I work and that's not my life alone. So now what I do is I just kind of say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. I just kind of list them, and then I just see as I go. Like every now and then I do a vision board. But I don't do the serious ones, we love the trees. So I don't print out anything.
Not out here cutting out and printing.
No. So I save pictures onto my phone and then I just make an album on photos and then, I just call that my vision board. And I'll actually share a story about that a little bit later when Sniper shares how she does.
So with me, it's kind of like I'm not extremely vocal about my goals and what I want to achieve because you kind of have, I don't want
people
to say...
People are witchy.
No, besides that, besides the external, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have these fears of not achieving things that you say out loud. So that's why I haven't for the longest time been the kind of person who says, okay, this year I'm going to do this or this year I'm going to do this. And I'm even scared of saying it out loud to myself. But you know how when you have a dream and you have a feeling attached to what you dreamt about, but you don't necessarily put it in words, but you know what that feeling felt like. So I'm like that with my goals where I know what I feel like I want to achieve, but I don't even say it out loud to myself because I'm scared of failing myself, and I don't say it out loud to others because I'm scared of setting the standard of myself where there's certain things that are expected and I don't achieve them because I'm really afraid of failure. But this year I've kind of told myself that I need to be more vocal. I need to put things out there so that I can also hold myself accountable, because you don't necessarily really hold yourself accountable to feelings that you have. You need to hold yourself accountable to words, and when you put things out there, okay, I need to do this. So I downloaded these apps. I saw everybody was talking about vision board apps, like New Year's resolutions, hold yourself accountable. But then I was like, this app is sending me a notification every 5 minutes telling me to drink water. I'm like, dog, I'm going to do this next week. Or it's telling me read a book, or it's telling me how have you worked towards saving X amounts because you want to go on holiday. So it can be extremely invasive and intrusive, but at the same time, I need to find this balance where I'm holding myself accountable, but I don't feel like I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain it fully, you know. So yeah, that's the kind of like awkward position that I'm in when it comes to goal setting and New Year's resolutions. But at the same time, it feels like something that I've told myself I need to think about it outside of the societal like norms and what like is currently the norm now. Because I know you set these resolutions and then there's like this pressure that, okay, I've shared my vision board. Now I need to make sure that I achieve these things and I share when I achieve them as well. Because we're also living in this age of like sharing a lot, and it kind of tends to be extremely performative.
Absolutely.
Especially when it's things that are internal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the weird space I'm finding myself in when it comes to my goals and what I want to achieve and what I want to do.
And actually, that reminds me of in January when the new year actually started. So last year was a very hectic year for me. It was really, really ridiculous. So I mean, I only started resting in like towards the end of December, which was from the 21st or something onwards. And by the time the 1st of January came through, I was so exhausted. But at the back of my mind, I really was feeling a pressure of sorts to you know, have my goals intact, have my resolutions intact. And it was just so unrealistic. I physically just couldn't do it, you know, because it was just, I mean, I had it in my mind that, okay, this year I'm doing, I'm actually going to go into that, the personal year readings that we did.
Yeah, yo, that was Sandy dragged the fuck out of me. Her name's Sandy, right?
Yeah, Sandy. I did the one from affinitynumerology.com, and it was, you know, it asks you for like the day you were born, the month and the year, and then it gives you your personal year number. And for me, it was so accurate. Like it was just, I guess I might as well say it. It was like a year to put in the work for the future.
But that also puts in a lot of pressure on you, because there's this idea that like when you're in your 20s, you need to build for the future. So every single thing you do now is gonna fuck you over, or it's gonna accelerate your growth. And that's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot to carry,
especially when you like building your life, you know, like our careers are starting, other people are finishing off school, we're also still trying to like get other degrees, so it's scary.
It really is scary. I won't lie, like I haven't really sat down and really looked at it and kind of digested it, obviously, because like I said, you know, January doesn't count. Our new year only just started now in February.
True.
So I really haven't had the chance to sit down and really look at the gravity of you know, kind of what's expected of me or what I want to do. So it really is scary because, you know, it does feel like what you're saying, like at any point if I fuck something up, you know,
it's gonna last with you for so long,
and I don't want to live like that. It goes back to what we're saying about, you know, how, you know, New Year's resolutions for so long have been tied to guilt and shame, and it's difficult to get through anything when you're dealing with that. It's hard. I won't even lie. Like there are a lot of things that I just don't do, even if I need to do them, because there's just shame and guilt
and also
tied
like
to it.
It's really messed up how we've always known what is expected of us, but we hardly ever know what we want to do. So I think that there's like a lot of significance in that, in the way that we need to apply certain things, because it's nice to have guidance, right? So that's why a lot of people resonate with religion, resonate with a lot of structures that we feel might feel are archaic in nature, but because there's that guidance, you take what you can from that. So the idea of New Year's resolution, like, okay, it's a new year, it's a fresh start, what can I apply now that can help me? But doing it from the perspective of what do I want versus what is expected of me, and how much of what is expected of me do I want in my personal life. So I think that's really important, and it holds a lot of significance. And when you speak about the amount of shame and guilt that comes with not achieving certain things, often you find that those are things that you didn't necessarily even want for yourself. So I think we need to learn how to be able to motivate ourselves and each other without attaching guilt and shame to it, because it goes back to that thing of like
you said you're gonna do that. Why didn't you do it?
And also I always feel like if I share that, like I'm like, yo, Misho, this year I want to buy a car, and then I don't buy a car, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm so ashamed. Misho is probably thinking, when is this car popping off, you know?
Like, that's normal. We need to be like, B, it's normal, shit happens. Not everything will go as planned. So
that's like what my thoughts are and views are on like New Year's resolution in the traditional sense. So as I said, I want to just set things in a way that resonates with me, but also takes from the traditional structures that exist, so that I'm still guided in what I'm doing, and I'm still guided in being accountable to myself, but taking away the shame so that I'm not accountable to other people more than I am to myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I've been using a lot of like the woo-woo Twitter stuff. Hey, shout out woo-woo Twitter. I've been using a lot of that. I mean, I don't really like believe in it like 100%. Sometimes it makes sense. Other times I'm like, whatever, bro.
So woo-woo Twitter is astrology Twitter, but also like
Twitter.
energy Twitter on some like good vibes and karma and like But I also have like this issue with woo-woo Twitter where it's like everything is about the universe and people aren't necessarily taking accountability for the shit that they also put out there. So it's like everyone has negative energy, but they never think that I can be the one.
I've seen people be like, okay, like you see a headline, let me say like Offset went to Cardi's concert and he did that like stupid head ass shit, and people were like, he's a Taurus, of course. I said, what?
Oh, he's a Gemini. Of course you can expect that behavior from him. No.
I said, no, guys. Yes, we can use those things as guides, but we need to hold ourselves accountable in a very practical way. And doing that isn't practical. Let's be very honest. I love y'all queens, but no. I feel like that absolves people of responsibility.
Yes, it does, because then it says, because I was born at this time and this time, and my moon this is what I'm predisposed to be, therefore I should not challenge that. Because there's this whole idea that like, oh, Geminis are evil.
Yes, and it's like that's not something we should say.
And it's like, prescribe. Yo, fix yourself, bro.
Fix yourself. It's like, Geminis have the bad habit of doing X, Y, and Z. It's like you can't leave it at that. You're self-aware for nothing.
Like interrogate.
You're self-aware for aesthetics. Like now, all you're doing is just being like, I have bad habits.
This is who
and they're cute. No, they're not.
This is my space. This is my area. No, it's not, bro. We occupy it with you. You're not alone in this world.
You need to be considerate of other people. Your bad habit is affecting other people. Therefore, perhaps, maybe you need to deal with it. So anyway, I was saying I use some of the
some of their beliefs are dope though. Some of their practices
are really dope. I mean, I have an app called The Pattern. The pattern.
The pattern.
And basically it gives you like, I really love the one that I got. Let me see if I can find it. It said,
it's called woo-woo because it's like some of them also do some dark magic shit, bro.
Yeah, they do
and
dark
also
magic,
it's
bro.
like throwing bones.
They be burning sage.
Who was that celebrity that was out there on Instagram?
Azalea Banks. She was slaughtering like chickens and throwing them into her closet.
There's another thing, actually, that opens up another conversation on can some niggas' New Year's resolution be to not slaughter random animals fucking public spaces and say they are cleansing? Guys, y'all are opening up conversations that are just weird. That's another like extension of woo-woo.
Yeah. But anyway, I was talking about...
That happened in Bram, bro. People slaughtered goats or sheep in Bram.
They were busy burning
and they did it as an exhibition.
Yeah.
It was Ayanda Mabulu, the dude that's obsessed with Zuma's dick.
Yeah.
And Maxhosa Bailaduma.
Oh yeah. He had
collaborated with that. And that was very weird to me because that's the first time that like Maxhosa has ever done anything controversial outside of their existence.
Yeah.
Because even them, their history is like rooted in the culture of circumcision, like Amakwala and all of that. And also like Duma did his masters or honors on like making this thing that would help with healing in the mountain. So outside of the brand itself being controversial in that light, however, it doesn't affect it that much. It was the first time that they've done like that kind of a collaboration or something. So it was very weird to me that they would go for an exhibition of that nature.
I was so happy in that moment. So I wanted to go to First Thursdays, but I had school the next day and then I had to finish some work off. And I was like, I'm so glad I didn't go.
You didn't go, bro, because you'd be out here catching random spirits.
Exactly. I'm like, listen, I do not call any of my spirits because I don't know where they come from.
What if the spirit of like whoever the fuck Brahm is named after like just jumped out? Like you don't know what you're summoning,
That's
bro.
what I was thinking about when they were slaughtering in Clifton Beach. I said, what if you guys are calling Jan van Riebeeck
also
back?
all those people that drowned in those beaches, like
all the people that
I
drowned,
personally don't have a full understanding of like spirits and shit like that. That's why I don't fuck with things on that level. Like I believe that you shouldn't provoke people, and I feel that's what like Clifton and Brahm and all these random things,
people
like
who
even
are like
performing
Afro-punk, people who are like invoking spirits while performing, my nigga, I need you to stop it.
Fam?
I don't know what you're doing, I don't understand it, and I don't want to be part of it.
But that's what I want for y'all for the new year.
Yeah, please,
just like
guys,
some reflection and like an understanding of the shit that you're doing.
Yes, but anyway, I was talking about the pattern, and there was the one sort of so they base it off of when you're born and you know the time as well. I don't have the time because my parents clearly aren't interested. I'm gonna share a story about that actually really quickly. I asked my mom, I called her, I was like, when I was born, you know, and she was like, I don't know, like maybe like 5 p.m. I said, I cannot have been born at 5 p.m. if you called me Misha. The name means dawn, by the way, so in the morning. So that means I was born in the morning. So I was like, sweetie, come on. Like, I'm not born at 5 p.m. So she's clearly not interested. I'm the last born, so...
She was
like,
tired
whatever.
of that shit.
She was tired. She was like, you know what? It's fine, whatever.
So you can't get your accurate...
I can get my accurate band, but the ones I do have
so
are
you
actually
can never
really
be on
dope.
woo-woo Twitter.
No, I can never be on woo-woo Twitter. I don't know my
Shame,
moon
that sucks,
rising, my sun rising, my sunset, you know, all that stuff. I don't even know what it means. But anyway, it was a reading I got for the 3rd of February to the 5th of February. So it was it's titled Fresh Start, and it was basically saying these 3 days are extremely useful for envisioning how you would like the next month to go for you. It's a time to set your intentions, to imagine you are planting seeds, and to do this, you'll need to take some time to yourself and be introspective. Ideally, you'll create a clear and specific goals, and so it kind of guides me. It gives me
which is really practical advice. Like anyone can apply that regardless of when they are born.
Yeah.
So
it was so practical. I read it the other day and I was like, oh my God, like, wow.
I can do this.
I definitely can
so
do this.
That's what I like fuck with. Give me practical advice instead of like things that are good in practice.
Yeah.
I mean, not good in theory, but like when I'm
in
like,
practice,
it's time for me to practice them, I'm going to struggle.
Yeah.
Because that's what I find with New Year's resolutions as well. It's like, I'm like, okay, this year I'm going to be mindful. This year I'm going to do this. This year I'm going to do this. But we hardly ever look at how can I achieve these things that I want to do.
Yeah.
Like if I say I want to be more in tune with my body, what am I going to do to guarantee that?
Where do I start? Like even that the whole thing, I'm going to love myself more. Okay, but
how? Like what am I going to do to love myself more? Actually, what am I going to do to get to know myself?
Yeah, speaking of that was sort of a resolution for me that I kind of, it was very I wasn't very intentional. It was just something that I had just realized out of frustration. I was like, I cannot take part in self-depreciation this year.
I'm also about that life this year.
I was like, it's an absolute no-no. Like, it's not taking me anywhere. It's not doing anything for me. So I was like, self-depreciation is cancelled.
Because I also found that self-depreciation wave was like something that everyone was doing. Yeah. So it was easy for all of us to project the negative feelings that we have about ourselves and then just add a lol at the end. Just be like, LOL. Okay.
And it's like deep inside, you know, hate
myself. And you're like, I'm hurting, but
I'm
laughing. And that's fucked up.
That's not cool,
because
guys.
there were things that I would also say about myself where if I were to go look back on them now, I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I get that in that context, everyone was doing that and it was like, ha, 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 ha.
But it was quite
serious.
serious.
Also the things I was putting out there versus like the good things I feel about myself.
Yeah.
And you need to also ask yourself, why is it so easy to say all this negative shit about myself, but it's difficult to actually like say good things about myself? If I were to be like, what do you hate?
Bro.
you would be able to list all of them. But if I'm like,
Quickly.
yo, Misha, what do you like about yourself?
That actually reminds me so much of one of the podcasts I listen to is A24, and A24 is the production company owned by Brad Pitt and all of that, and Barry Jenkins is part of that. So he had a podcast with Greta Gerwig. She did I don't know what the movie was. I like her though. She's a white woman. And they were talking about
I love that distinction.
The
other day, I was like, guys, I think I'm like making a white friend. And everyone was like, it's okay, it happens. But anyway,
and she was talking about how she struggles so much with, well, actually, when it's time for them to talk about what they hate, like they can list it, like, you know, what they don't like about their filmmaking and directing. It was so easy for them to say, okay, I don't like this, I don't like this. But when it was time to talk passionately about what you love about what you do, they struggled so much. And it was just like, guys.
And that's when we need to have the conversation about how, because when I ask you, what do you like about yourself? You have that feeling inside of you that's like, okay, like I like this, like this makes me. But it's very difficult for us to articulate those positive feelings and also to put them like in words. Yeah. I don't know if I'm articulating myself properly. Yeah. Like you get a warm feeling when I'm like, yo, like what do you actually like? You can think of something.
Yeah. When it's time to put it into words, you know, it's so difficult. I can definitely, you know, speak on that. Like, I mean, when it's time for me to talk about what I love and what I like about myself, I'm like, I always see those questionnaires on Twitter, you know, those Twitter questionnaires. And someone asks, and I'm like, yo.
But also it's because of the way we've been raised. It's like you shouldn't be this.
You're boastful.
You shouldn't be too full of yourself. You shouldn't think too much of yourself. You should only like, compliments should only ever come from the outside. Exactly. But then you realize that you don't even know how to accept compliments. Yeah. Like if someone's like, oh, you're so smart, you're like, oh, not really. Or someone's like, oh, I like your face. You're like,
I feel like we need to have a whole chat about compliments. Some of you, your compliments are really strange. So a lot of
are the compliments strange, or have we been conditioned to not know how to accept compliments?
You know, but also like I feel like sometimes people are just they can't give. Like the one like people classic example, people are like, oh my god, your hair is long. I'm like, it is.
Yeah, but they like maybe we don't know how to give compliments properly. Yeah, so maybe I mean like your hair is so full, like it looks so good,
voluptuous.
Yeah,
but like
so I don't have the vocabulary, so I'm just gonna be like, yo,
what am
I
gonna do with your hair is long? It's like, thanks, I guess.
So let me just put it out there to hold myself accountable. Yeah. So for the new year, I then want to achieve obviously certain things. Yeah. And they're not really attached to like objects or materialistic things. For the longest time, I feel that I've like abandoned myself and I've been chasing achieving things and like milestones and all of that. So it's like, you want to get a degree, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this. And with those things, it's not necessarily just yourself that is in control. So I feel for this year, I just want to achieve things that have to do primarily with myself. With the personal, So it's like being more confident in my capabilities, and especially now that I'm like starting my career and stuff, being more vocal about things in the spaces that I occupy, and also just believing in myself more. And not using other things to discredit myself and my belief in myself, because it's very easy to be like, no, I'm not going to do this, I don't have this, I don't have that, or so-and-so is going to think this, or I know I'm not going to be able to do it forever. Because I feel like when we started We The Net, there was this idea, we were like, oh, okay, fine, let's just do it.